Wheatridge Channel 8, keeping you informed on events in your community.
Calling to order the Wheatridge City Council meeting of January 23rd, 2012. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll talk about that. Would the city clerk please take roll?
Davis Reinhardt.
Present.
Bud Starker.
Here.
Joyce J.
Here.
Christy Davis.
Present.
Mike Stites.
Here.
George Pond.
Present.
Tracy Langworthy.
Here.
Joseph DeMott.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes of January 9th, 2012?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion for approval. It was seconded by Councilmember Starker. Discussion on the minutes. Please poll the council.
Motion carries 8-0.
Thank you. We have two proclamations tonight. Our city clerk has graciously agreed to read our proclamations from now on, and we have our chief to accept the proclamations. These are for two fine employees of the city of Wheatridge who I believe are retiring this year. They both work in the police department, so the chief will be accepting the proclamations.
Do this first. The first. Can you hear me? Okay. The first one is a proclamation in appreciation of Fred Bright in recognition for his conscientious and dedicated service to the citizens of Wheatridge. Whereas the mayor and city council of the city of Wheatridge desire to formally express appreciation to Fred Bright, who has served the city of Wheatridge in a dedicated and conscientious manner, and whereas Sergeant Bright has provided 23 years of performance and professionalism as a public service in law enforcement, and throughout his career, he has demonstrated strong support of the goals and organizational values of the Wheatridge Police Department, and whereas Sergeant Bright began his employment with the Wheatridge Police Department on December 1st, 1988, and served as a patrol officer, field training officer, relief supervisor, and department training officer. And whereas Sergeant Bright was promoted to the rank of sergeant on February 2nd, 2001, and served the next 11 years both in the Patrol Operations Division and in the Investigations Bureau in charge of property crimes. And whereas over the past 23 years, in conjunction with his assigned duties, Sergeant Bright displayed initiative and commitment by taking on many additional responsibilities, such as field training sergeant, hazardous material technician, standardization of marked patrol vehicles, crime analysis statistics, and serving as an instructor in police driving, incident command system, and tactical communication. And whereas Sergeant Bright served as a police pension board member for many years, a Fraternal Order of Police officer, and is president of the Colorado Association of Property and Evidence Technicians for the past 2 years, and whereas it is fitting in conjunction with Sergeant Bright's retirement from the city of Wheatridge, we formally recognize his many contributions and value to the police department and the city, and express to him our sincere thanks for a job well done. Now therefore be it resolved that on behalf of the City Council and the people of the City of Wheat Ridge, I, Jerry DiTullio, Mayor of the City of Wheat Ridge, Colorado, by virtue of the authority vested in me, do hereby proclaim appreciation to Fred Bright for his 23 years of service to the City of Wheat Ridge. Okay. All right. Our second proclamation is in appreciation of Marilyn Wilde, in recognition of her conscientious and dedicated service to the citizens of Wheat Ridge. Whereas the Mayor and City Council of the City of Wheat Ridge desire to formally express appreciation to Marilyn Wilde, who has served the City of Wheat Ridge in a dedicated and conscientious manner, and whereas Ms. Wilde has almost 20 years of performance and professionalism as a public servant in law enforcement, and throughout her career, she has demonstrated strong support of the goals and organizational values of the Wheat Ridge Police Department. And whereas Ms. Wilde joined the Wheat Ridge Police Department in March of 1993 as a clerk on the records team and served in that capacity for 7 years, and whereas in 2000, Ms. Wilde transferred to the Investigations Bureau and began managing the warrant function for the department, and over the next 10 years, she handled the exact, complex, and time-consuming job of entering and removing warrants and arranging extraditions. And whereas in 2011, Ms. Wilde's position as a police technician evolved into a job requiring her to assist detectives with complex investigations, where she continued to perform at an exceptional level with an extremely positive and professional disposition. And whereas it is fitting, in conjunction with Ms. Wilde's retirement from the City of Wheat Ridge, we formally recognize her many contributions and value to the police department and the city, and express to her our sincere thanks for a job well done. Now therefore be it resolved that on behalf of the City Council and the people of the City of Wheat Ridge, I, Jerry DiTullio, Mayor of the City of Wheat Ridge, Colorado, by virtue of the authority vested in me, do hereby proclaim appreciation to Marilyn Wilde for her years of service to the City of Wheat Ridge. The Chief has a few words.
Just wanted to take the opportunity to thank the Mayor and Council for recognizing these employees who are retiring, both after 20-plus years of service to our city and our community. These proclamations, I think, will go a long way towards sincerely letting them know that we appreciate their dedication and service to our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. The next item on the agenda is Citizens' Right to Speak. Citizens' right to speak is reserved for the members of the public who wish to speak on any item not on the agenda. Speakers are allowed 3 minutes. Others may donate their time to the speaker at the podium for a total of 9 minutes. When you are speaking at the podium, you will see a green light when you start speaking, a yellow light when you have 30 seconds left, and a red light when your time is up. So please step forward, form a line here for public comment if you would like. Please spell your last name for the record, and please state your city and/or your address.
Good evening. My name is Mike Gauthier, and my last name is spelled G-A-U-T-H-I-E-R. I'm the owner of Wheat Ridge Liquor, which is located on 38th Avenue and Fenton Street. Been there 7.5 years. I've been fairly involved with the 38th Avenue project. I don't know if we have an official term for it, but if there is one, you know what I'm talking about. Been involved with most of the meetings about the road diet and other things. I felt it necessary to show up tonight and reiterate some things that I hear from my customers, which are citizens, I assume, because I'm a local business, so most of my customers are local residents. I myself live in Arvada, have most of my life, but the comment I'd like to say is that I think it's important, and that's why I'm here tonight, to let you council members know that there are a lot of people in favor of it, including myself. There are people that I think are still uninformed about exactly what the plan is, and they focus on the road diet and not the general plan to help businesses along the corridor. So I think that is the main reason I showed up tonight, is to maybe let you know that I do hear favorable things. I'm in favor of it. I think we need to do a better job of letting our citizens know exactly what's happening, because I do hear comments that aren't really accurate. So, of course, I take my opportunity to straighten them out. The other thing that I'd like to just throw out for a moment is that I know some council members are also business owners along the corridor, and I think sometimes we have an opportunity to influence people, and I would ask that if that's the case with any of you, that you would sometimes maybe put your personal opinions in your pocket for a moment, listen to your constituents, and really make votes based on what you feel they want, because that's why you're here. Not that I need to lecture you that, but that is really what you're doing, is representing them. So if that's a situation you're personally dealing with, I just ask you to be optimistic about what we're trying to do, try to be objective as possible, and hopefully we can move forward and generate some income and some more interest along the corridor. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Good evening, Council. Good evening, Mayor. My name is Molly Hanson. I'm the Wheat Ridge Coalition Coordinator. I'm passing around our newsletter, our most recent newsletter. I'd like to thank the Mayor and the Council for hearing my brief comments tonight. We have several speakers, so I'll just be a couple minutes. The purpose of my comments is to highlight a few coalition accomplishments in 2011 and discuss next steps for the coalition in 2012 and 2013. As you may remember, Live Well Wheat Ridge is a community initiative that has been in existence since 2005. Currently, we are funded by Live Well Colorado. We work to reduce and prevent obesity by supporting programs and policies that focus on healthy choices, opportunities, and environments. We use a coalition approach and strive to apply evidence-informed practices in the field. We feel this work is changing environments can't be done without partnerships. Our coalition has two task forces, the Active Community Environments Task Force and the Access to Fresh Fruits and Vegetables Task Force. Each task force meets monthly. It is made up of residents, schools, parents, Jeffco Public School District staff, council members, commissioners, city staff, businesses, and representatives from many other segments of our community. Our partners work tirelessly to shape and create a Wheat Ridge that we want for our families, our older adults, and our future generations. Over the past year, I've noticed a renewal energy and new commitment and excitement in Wheat Ridge to make Wheat Ridge a place that fosters healthy, active lifestyles. It's exciting to be a part of this community at this particular point of time. As many of you know, Live Well Wheat Ridge is a strong partner on the 38th Avenue Revitalization Project. We supported the process by providing partial funds for the 38th Avenue input sessions in 2011. This project is a great example of a multi-sectorial and multi-pronged approach to a community issue and the convergence of multiple strategies to revitalize a district. By addressing the various land use issues, creating a more bicycle and pedestrian-friendly environment, focusing on the branding of the area, and supporting the business district, we will hopefully create a more thriving business sector, create an environment where people want to walk and cycle, and create a place where people want to gather, shop, and build community. It's also important to mention that while this is happening, Live Well Wheat Ridge is also working hard to secure additional school and community gardens, encourage healthy food choices in our school cafeterias, monitoring state and federal legislation, and helping our communities write grants to ensure the movement lives on after Live Well Colorado funds step down in 2013. Please consider attending our next task force meeting on February 15th from 5:30 to 7 p.m. at City Hall. We will be talking in length about the 38th Avenue Corridor Plan. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Tara Jan. I live at 3620 High Court.
Just play your last name for the record, please.
Jahn.
Thank you.
First of all, this is my first meeting since the new city council people have been here, so thank you all for your service. And I'm bringing that up because I think everyone who was here last fall, I also want to say thank you to passing the 38th Avenue plan, because it was really, it's breathed a breath of fresh air into conversations that I have with my friends, with business owners that I interact with in the community, and also I think it's given all of us an opportunity of some really great things to look forward to in this next year, including the prospect of implementation of that plan. I think that we're at this great opportunity to not proceed with an unfunded mandate, and whereas we all have the opportunity to work together and make our community better and, you know, support those people and those organizations and those businesses that have been working for the past 10 years to get this plan passed so we all can have a better community for the future. I am very committed personally to Wheat Ridge. I bought a house. I moved my mom here all the way from Alaska. And she now lives on 38th Avenue, just as I'm a block off of 38th Avenue. And we did it because we wanted to see something happen in this community for not only the Main Street area, but also for the grander identity of the community. And I think the next 3 to 5 months are really integral to make anything stick. And so we're not just looking at the possibility of, you know, passing something and then waiting for it to fail because we don't get behind it. We have the opportunity to really buckle together and see if it works and see if we can encourage the surrounding communities to support us, see if we can get people to come out of the woodwork and really try to work towards making their community the place that we all want to be living in. So I know that there's presentation on implementation phases in the next 3 to 6 months, and I just encourage you all to think really strongly about making our community or giving it a fighting chance. And so, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Hi, please spell your last name for the record.
The name is Janet Jan. The last name is Jahn. I'm the mother that was forced to move here. I happen to be a resident now at the Highland West community, and I have tried to encourage and possibly dissuade some of the fears and the anxiety that the current residents have there towards this change. Change is scary. I know that as well as anyone else in here probably, that we like the status quo, we like things to stay as they are. But if you look at 38th Avenue, you realize that it needs to not stay as it is. It needs to improve. I'm embarrassed at closed storefronts because this is my community now. I went to Longmont Friday for the senior citizen little soiree, and I was impressed with the way they tried to revitalize their downtown. Now, granted, there are some closed storefronts, and that's sad. But when I look at the possible restaurants that could be reopened or revitalized here in the community, I want to see that. I want to see a change. I also, one of the concerns that was expressed several times at meetings that we had at the center was that, the road, taking it down to 3 lanes, that's scary. And I keep trying to tell people that means you only have 1 lane to cross to get on the other lane. So it's not that scary. But I understand, again, change is not something that us older folks want to see very often. But I think it's important that you keep an open mind, that we all in the community keep an open mind to the fact that we need to do something to revitalize this community. And I'd like to hear people when I'm out at the city events saying, yeah, we're going to go to Wheat Ridge next weekend because they just opened that new store, they just changed this, or, it's really nice to just sit there and people watch, or whatever. That would be nice. So I hope we can work in that direction. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anybody else here for public comment? Seeing none, we'll move on to approval of the agenda. Are there any changes tonight on the agenda? Seeing none, we'll move on to decisions, resolutions, and motions. Item 1, Councilmember Langworthy.
Thank you, Mayor. A motion to encumber funds for WRTV 8 2012 videographer services in amount not to exceed $39,400 to IOTK Media. The issue is, should the City Council approve the requested encumbrance for 2012 Wheat Ridge TV 8 videographer services in amount not to exceed $39,400.
Could someone maybe close the door in the back, please?
Is a motion in order?
Sorry, a motion's in order.
I move to encumber funds for 2012 WRTV-8 videographer services in an amount not to exceed $39,400 to IOTK Media.
Is there a second? Second. We have a motion for approval was seconded by Councilmember DeMott. Any questions or comments? Please poll the council. Janelle, your mic's not on.
Motion carries 8-0.
Thank you. Item 2, Councilmember Jay.
Motion to approve payment to Colorado Intergovernmental Risk Sharing Agency, CIRSA, for 2012 workers' compensation premium in the amount of $375,875 and 2012 property casualty premium in the amount of $172,672. At issue, the Colorado Intergovernmental Risk Sharing Agency, CIRSA, provides property, casualty, and workers' compensation coverage for the city of Wheat Ridge each year. Each year, the city of Wheat Ridge completes a CIRSA renewal application process for both property, casualty, and workers' compensation coverage, and the premium amount is based on the information provided in the applications. The pool billing amount is then reduced if the city is eligible for credits offered by CIRSA. The initial payments for 2012 are $375,875 for work compensation and $172,672 for property casualty. The motion is in order.
Motion's in order.
I approve to approve payment to CIRSA for 2012 workers' compensation premium in the amount of $375,875 and the 2012 property casualty premium in the amount of $172,672.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion for approval of item 2, seconded by Councilmembers Reinhardt and Stites. Any questions on item 2 from the council? Please poll the council.
I have a question. I'm sorry.
Ms. Jay.
I am concerned when I look at the amount of this encumbrance of $375,875. Looking back in the records, that is an increase of over 30% of what we had paid previously. I spoke briefly to Heather Geyer about it, who has made the statement that we really don't have a lot of choice as to insurance companies, which is a problem for municipalities. She did say that she will look further and look with, I think it's Pinnacle offers it, as well as the fact that this billing amount is a pooled amount. In other words, that all of our cities around us are part of this pool. And my question is, do those cities, maybe we should confer with them and get a kind of an understanding. I realize it's safety related and claims related, but are all cities experiencing this kind of an increase, and should we have maybe a word or a conversation with them so that we are not what I feel like slightly victims of a circumstance of not enough providers for some very large increases.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions on the CIRSA? Patrick, do you want to?
I can comment a little bit of clarification on the premium increase this year for workers' comp. In 2011, because of the economic conditions of the state and the nation, CIRSA did provide credits from the pool's equity. So in 2011, the city's premium was reduced by $50,000 using some of our equity in the pool. They did not give us that same credit in 2012, so the increase is not it's not apples to apples when you're looking at year to year, because we didn't get a credit this year we did last year, so it's not quite a 30% increase, but it is an increase, and insurance rates are primarily based on the usage of the customers, and they do look at the current year, plus they look back 2 years. And we've had some significant claims in our pool, significant injuries to employees that has affected our premium rates. But I think Heather mentioned in the staff report, we will, for 2013, look at other options. We do have one other option in the state of Pinnacle Assurance. You've seen it in the news probably recently. So we will look out definitely for next year to make sure that we're still receiving competitive premiums.
Thank you.
Thank you. That is still at least a 20% increase, even with the 50,000 that was less from last year from those refunds. So I do think it'll be taken seriously.
Sure. We'll do that.
Mr. Starker?
Patrick, is the CIRSA a shared risk pool? So we share our risk and is it all municipalities are the shareholders or the?
Yes. Yeah. The ones that are members. Yeah. Not everybody in the state is, but pretty much every municipality in Colorado is.
We have a motion that was seconded. Please poll the council on item number 2.
Motion carries 8-0.
Thank you. Item 3, Councilmember DeMott.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Motion to encumber funds for 2012 municipal court prosecuting attorney legal services in an amount not to exceed $84,000 to various vendors. City Council approved funding for the 2012 municipal court prosecuting attorney legal services in the 2012 budget in the amount of $84,000. The request to encumber funds for various vendors is for municipal court prosecuting attorney legal services. The city pays for prosecuting attorney services on a monthly basis. The city attorney's office provides substitutes for the prosecuting attorney when needed. The request for various vendors allows staff to encumber the total $84,000 and pay invoices to both the prosecuting attorney and Jerry Dahl's office for prosecuting attorney services. Is your motion in order?
Motion's in order.
I move to encumber funds for 2012 municipal court prosecuting attorney legal services in an amount not to exceed $84,000 to various vendors.
I'll second that.
We have a motion for approval for item number 3, seconded by Councilmember Starker. Discussion on item 3. Please poll the council.
Motion carries 8-0.
Thank you. Item 4, Councilmember Reinhardt.
Motion to encumber funds for the 2012 city attorney legal service in amount not to exceed $174,000 to various vendors. The City Council approved funding for city attorney legal services in the 2012 budget in the amount of $174,000. This motion would allow for the funds to be encumbered to service that function. Is the motion in order?
Motion's in order.
I move to encumber funds for the 2012 city attorney legal services in an amount not to exceed $174,000 to various vendors.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion for approval of item number 4, was seconded by Councilmember DeMott. Discussion on item 4. Please poll the council.
Motion carries 8-0.
Thank you. Item 5, Councilmember Davis.
Motion to approve payment of the annual sales tax increment for the Wheat Ridge Cyclery project in the amount of $47,429.14 to Renewal Wheat Ridge. The Wheat Ridge Cyclery Improvements Agreement allows for utilization of tax increment financing to share back a certain portion of sales tax increment with Renewal Wheat Ridge to pay Wheat Ridge Cyclery for certain improvements made to the store. The total sales tax back for 2011 is $47,429.14. Is the motion in order?
Motion's in order.
I move to approve payment to the annual sales tax increment from the Wheat Ridge Cyclery project in the amount of $47,429.14 to Renewal Wheat Ridge.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion for approval of item number 5. It was seconded by Councilmember Pond. Discussion on the main motion. Please poll the council.
Motion carries 8-0.
Thank you. Item 6, Councilmember Stites.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to introduce motion to ratify our mayoral appointments to Renewal Wheat Ridge. The members of Renewal Wheat Ridge are appointed by the mayor and ratified by City Council. Janet Leo currently serves on the board representing District 4. Term expired November 2011. Janet has requested reappointment to this position on the RWR board. The mayor also appoints an elected official as per the bylaws. Councilmember Christy Davis and City Treasurer Larry Schultz submitted applications for the appointment. Is a motion in order?
Motion's in order.
I'll split it. So I move to ratify the District 4 mayoral appointment of Janet Leo to the Renewal Wheat Ridge Board. Term expired November 2016.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion for approval of Janet Leo, seconded by Councilmember Reinhardt. Please poll the council. Oh, please step forward. Please spell your last name for the record.
Hello, my name is Jesse Hill. I'm speaking as a citizen of Wheat Ridge, and last name is Hill, H-I-L-L, and I live at 2995 Chase Street. I'd like to ask council to reconsider the mayoral appointment for Renewal Wheat Ridge. I'm disappointed that Larry Schultz was not chosen to be reappointed. His experience with city financial matters are extremely valuable, especially for Renewal Wheat Ridge that has a lot to do with dollars and cents. Those finances make a big difference. Also, the long-range development organizations such as Renewal Wheat Ridge benefit greatly from having that institutional knowledge from individuals from previous boards. That continuity is valued a lot on the board. I also know of no performance issues from Larry's last term. And also, while Christy Davis is an excellent candidate who will have plenty of opportunities to serve and lead our community, I believe, in the future, when comparing side by side these two applicants and really thinking about the needs of the Renewal Wheat Ridge Board, Larry's leadership really should be the one that I believe should be chosen. I recommend that you, as representatives of the community, will reconsider and reject the current appointments as is and consider Mr. Schultz. Thank you for the time.
Okay, anybody else here for urban renewal discussion? Please poll the council on Janet Leo.
Motion carries 8-0.
Thank you. Before any more motions are made, I wanted to address the comments since this is a mayoral appointment. Granted, Mr. Schultz has done a great job on the Urban Renewal Authority, and this isn't a reflection on his participation or performance. When I appointed Mr. Schultz back 5 years ago, he was on City Council. And in the past, when I was on City Council and the code was amended, we wanted a City Council member on the board because City Council reports back to, or the City Council member reports back to City Council. And then, if you've seen in the past here, Councilmember Reinhardt and a few others have wanted more City Council people out in the community on these different boards because they are the policymakers. So when Mr. Schultz was elected City Treasurer the first time, he stayed on the committee because we were right in the middle of the project at 44th and Wadsworth. And like I said, he's done a great job. This isn't a reflection on Mr. Schultz. But right now, we have an opportunity to put a council member back on. And I looked at Christy Davis, talked to her because this project right now is split. It's the residential piece is being performed right now. We're moving on to the commercial piece. So we're at a good breaking point for Councilmember Davis to actually fulfill that role. Also, it's a District 2 project, and she has 4 years to work on that on urban renewal because it's a 5-year appointment. There was a question why now this was being brought forth. Well, I hadn't been notified by the city clerk's office with the elections and everything else going on, I'm sure, that we had 2 appointments up. So this is a mayoral appointment, and I wanted the city attorney to address how this would work. If somebody wants to vote against this motion tonight for Christy Davis, they can. They can also make a motion to continue it, but the way the code is written, and Mr. Dahl, do you want to go ahead and explain that basically the council doesn't appoint, they would just have to vote yes or no or continue it?
That's right. It's a mayoral appointment, and the way that both the statute and the code read is that those appointments are ratified by the council. It's really no different than the president trying to appoint a federal district court judge. The Senate, United States Senate, can say no, as they often do, and sometimes they say yes. but they can't say, okay, we're going to appoint someone else instead. The president has to keep sending names to the Senate until the Senate says yes. But it is the president's and here the mayor's job to send the names, and the council can certainly continue its action, which is to vote on ratification, and you can continue that action. That's within your control. In terms of when you want to act on it, you can continue that for whatever period of time. That's within your control because that's your job, and the mayor can't affect that. But there's a line between the mayor's role and yours, and that's what that line is.
And so, like I said, Council, this isn't a reflection on Mr. Schultz. He's done a good job on the board. But we are in a phase 2 right now of that project. I thought it was a good time to make the change and have a city council member on the board. And I would hope you would ratify this appointment.
Mr. Mayor, I have a note that I was asked to read into the record from Rick Adams. He, a citizen of Wheat Ridge, and he wanted to make the statement that Larry has been a valued member of the board, contributed significantly, and has done an overall good job. And he wanted to make it known that Larry has made a positive contribution as a board member.
Thank you, and I would agree with that statement. But my appointment stands. If somebody wants to vote against it or continue it, that's their prerogative.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to move to continue. I think there's merit to more discussion and a study session on this thing, and I would like to move that we continue this discussion until we've had an opportunity to vet it in a study session, as we have had with most appointments, both mayoral and otherwise.
Is there a second? Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion to continue to a study session. It was seconded by Councilmember Langworthy. Discussion on the motion to continue. Mr. Stites?
Yeah, I will vote against continuance because this is just doing business, and it's a mayoral appointment. We can take it to as many study sessions as we want, but until the mayor decides to choose someone else or whatever, this is his appointment tonight, and this is what we should be voting on. So I will not vote to continue this.
Mr. Pond?
Thank you. Actually, if you don't mind explaining a little bit further the reasoning for continuance, and maybe not having sat here before, some of the history of this going to study session before.
I don't think there's an awful lot of history, but it was, from my standpoint, we have on an ongoing basis reviewed prior to taking action, as many, or if not all, with some very few exceptions, we've discussed them a little bit. I think there's merit to both candidates. I'd like to explore, understand better than we were given a briefing on what the options are in terms of how the total board of Envision Reach and Reach works, and what opportunities we have perhaps to have both members serve. I respect both of them. I see merit to both candidacies, and I'd like to hear some discussion on that point, notwithstanding the fact that the mayor has, it is a mayoral appointment. In the past, we've tended to discuss these issues to some extent, and I would like to do that in this case.
So we have a motion to continue, is seconded. Please poll the council on the continuation.
No. Can you revote, please? Finished. Motion is tied 4-4 with council members DeMott, Stites, Davis, and Starker voting no.
I'm going to vote no on the continuation. We need to do business.
Motion carries with the mayor breaking the tie against the continuation.
Mr. Stites, motion's in order.
I move to ratify the elected official mayoral appointment of Councilmember Christy Davis to the Renewal Wheat Ridge Board, term to expire November 2016.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion for Christy Davis, Councilmember Christy Davis, second by Councilmember DeMott. Discussion on the appointment. Please poll the council.
Motion carries 8-0.
Thank you. And once again, thank you to Mr. Schultz for his work on the Urban Renewal Authority. Item 7, Councilmember Starker.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Item number 7 is titled A Motion to Approve the Proposed Changes to the Council Rules of Order and Procedure. At issue is, according to the current Rules of Order and Procedure, changes to the City Council rules are to be reviewed by Council at a City Council meeting prior to voting on said changes. Consideration for approval of the proposed changes to Council rules was held at the City Council meeting of January 9, 2012, with the vote on said changes scheduled for the January 23, 2012 regular City Council meeting. So we have the changes here.
Motion's in order, and then we can discuss the rules.
Well, if a motion is ordered, then I will move to adopt the amended City Council Rules of Order and Procedure, dating the revisions January 23, 2012.
Second.
We have a motion for approval by Councilmember Starker, was seconded by Mr. Stites. Discussion or comments on the council rules as presented?
I had a couple of items.
We've had public comment first, it looks
sorry.
like. And then we'll come to you.
That sounds fine.
Please spell your last name for the record.
My name is Jesse Hill, Hill. I'd like to, I guess, in regards to the council rules, disappointed that the new council has decided to continue excluding public testimony during the public input at a study session. This makes it kind of extremely difficult for, as a council, you to make an informed decision, as many times you're presented maybe with a one-sided or skewed proposal. Unlike tonight, there was a chance maybe for people to speak at a study session. This is a rare occurrence. Usually the only opportunity is during second hearing of a proposed ordinance or bill, such as my single opportunity tonight here. Ironically, like I said, when studying these council rules here, there wasn't a chance for even the public to be involved that would have the opportunity for them to make a public request on how they would be involved in public meetings, such as the study session itself. If it is your intent to truly study options at these study sessions, I'd also like to recommend that you attempt to please have alternative views out there be presented, or at least some opportunities for that. If it's going to be 38th Street, maybe finding someone outside of the Central Planning Committee or groups involved there. It ideally would allow for you all to have cut down on some unintended consequences that might occur at these study sessions that might not be brought up, and also allow citizens more than their one-time shot at second reading. That is all. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Starker, you had some comments too?
I did. There were a couple of changes that I wanted to make in the rules. One of them was under the heading of Chairman, Mayor Pro Tem and their duties. Under A and several other places, we talk about the chairman, and I would propose that in the moving forward that we move that to chair as just a name, or chairman or chairwoman or chairperson at the pleasure of the council. And the other one is in section B of that same heading. We have a sentence that says at the first or second business meeting in November of each year, the City Council shall nominate by secret paper ballot. And I would move, and I'm not sure if we're taking motions now, but I think that we should strike the words by secret paper ballot, because we're not taking nominations by secret paper ballot. We're taking nominations from the floor. So those were the sort of two changes that I would make in that.
Make those amendments.
I will make a motion to amend the...
Okay, we have a main motion, or do we have a main motion?
Well, let me make a motion.
Well, make an amendment.
This is an amendment to change the word chairman to chair, and at section under Chairman, Mayor Pro Tem, B1, strike the words by secret paper ballot.
Is there a second on the amendment?
Second.
Okay, we have one amendment two changes, seconded by Councilmember Stites. Mr. Dahl, Mr. Goff, do you have those changes?
Yes, we do.
Any comments or questions on those?
No, I understand them.
Any other comments or questions on the amendment before we vote on it? Mr. DeMott?
I'm just, by eliminating the nomination of secret paper ballot, are you suggesting we just take that out of there or take that out of the procedure altogether? Because it was really a three-step process.
Yeah, we're actually we're taking nominations from the floor, so we're not nominating by secret ballot. We're electing by secret ballot, but we're not nominating by secret ballot.
That was the old procedure, and that part just didn't get stricken after the 6 or 7 bullet points were added. So
So in the end, council will still vote by ballot, but you're not going to have a secret ballot for nominations.
That's correct.
Off the floor.
That's how I understand the amendment. I think that's right.
Everybody understand? Makes sense? Any other questions on the amendment before we poll the council on the amendment? So please poll the council on the amendment by Mr. Starker.
Motion carries 8-0.
Thank you. We have the main motion for council rules as amended. Please poll the council on the main motion as amended.
Motion carries 8-0.
Thank you. That concludes our agenda for the evening. We'll move on to city manager's matters.
Thank you, Mayor. I have nothing this evening.
Thank you. City attorney's matters.
Council, I have one item. As you know, the code requires that I come to you for requests to draft ordinances before they're brought forward. And I'd like to have your direction and permission to draft an ordinance concerning business licenses, revocation, suspension, and conditional suspension of business licenses for 2 reasons. Right now we have 3 separate sections in Chapter 11 governing business licenses. One addresses suspension, one addresses revocation, and one addresses conditional suspension. And when you look at the grounds, and as the city treasurer that conducts the hearings and makes the decision on whether a business license in the city is suspended, when you look at the grounds for each of those, they interrelate and overlap a little bit, but very honestly, each of the reasons that you might want to suspend could also be a reason you might want to conditionally suspend. It could also be a reason you might want to revoke a business license. And right now, it's awkward. Not all of the reasons are available for each of those 3 actions. And it's not that the treasurer will always need one or more of those reasons, but I believe that all of the reasons are appropriate for all 3 actions. And so the first reason I'd like to amend by ordinance these sections in Chapter 11 is to do that and make just one section on revocation, suspension, conditional suspension. Treasurer may do so after hearing upon the following grounds, and then list them all, and that'll be easier to administer. The second reason is we'd like to add an additional reason for suspension, revocation, etc., to deal with businesses that apply for a business license as a certain kind of business, but then are actually operating in a different way. And we've seen that with massage therapy center license applications, but they're really not operating massage therapy center, operating a massage parlor business, which is a different kind of business. And there are other regulatory and criminal code actions the city can take, but to add to the city's inventory, really, of potential administrative actions it could take, I would like to add to this business license revocation section the ability for the treasurer to revoke a business license if the business as conducted is different than the business that you applied for. If you apply for a business license for a dry cleaners and you are operating an amusement arcade, for example, then you've really misrepresented to the city what kind of business you're going to operate, and that's how you got the business license, but the business license was for the dry cleaners in this example. And that should be a reason that the city treasurer independently could say, after a hearing and notice and hearing to the business owner, I'm going to revoke that license because you're not doing the business you applied for. So I'd like to add that as an additional reason and bring this kind of reorganized revocation suspension of business license section back to you in ordinance format. That's the permission I'm asking tonight.
A study session or a regular meeting?
It's fairly simple. I really think it can be explained in a council action form in a regular meeting. If when you've seen it on first reading you want to refer to study sessions, fine, but I honestly don't think it would take any more time than what I've just now taken to explain it to you. And I think you can go straight to first reading if that's all right with you.
Does anybody on council have a problem with this coming forward by consensus, moving forward with it? Okay.
All right.
Like no
Thank
one
you very much.
opposes.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Our new city clerk's matters. Ms. Shaver. City clerk's matters.
Oh, yes. This is the first time I've had the opportunity to sit in front of the microphone, and I wanted to thank all of the staff, especially the people on the first floor, for the warm welcome that they have given me. And I also wanted to publicly thank Bruce because he is a really good teacher. That's all.
Thank you. Mr. Starker?
Nothing at this time, thank you.
Mr. Stites?
Oh, yeah. This would be a great time to relocate your residence or business to Wheat Ridge. If you need help, ask staff or one of us, and we'd be glad to help you. Please try to do one positive thing for your family, your neighborhood. With springtime coming, there's going to be a lot of cleanup, so you might want to help your neighbors out with that. And as always, please try to find it and buy it in Wheat Ridge. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Schultz?
Yeah, I guess city treasurer's matters made a first. But I appreciate the discussion here tonight. I appreciated that Jesse Hill took time to come in and compliment me. I appreciate the comments made by Mr. Adams, Rick Adams. I've enjoyed serving on the Urban Renewal Authority. I appreciate the clarification the mayor made tonight. I realize that was the history of it. I think that's valid thinking and a valid appointment. Congratulate Christie on her appointment. I just, if there's any feelings around, I want that to end here. I'll always be available to the authority if I can be of any value to them. And we look forward to the progress they've been making. Thanks much.
Thank you. Mr. DeMott?
Nothing tonight, thanks.
Thanks. Mr. Reinhardt?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Mr. Pond?
Thank you. I just want to take time to thank the people who came to tonight's meeting to speak on behalf of several items, but most particularly the folks who came and to speak on behalf of the 38th Avenue initiatives. I think it's exciting. We have a lot of exciting work to do, and it's glad to see that the community is willing to step forward and put their time into coming to a meeting and put themselves in front of a microphone and share their feelings. So thank you very much for doing that.
Ms. Jay?
Let me add to that, Mr. Pond. Thank not only the people who came to speak, but kind of to realize that this is a very important turning point in our history of Wheat Ridge, and I think we need to grasp every opportunity we can to make it happen and happen well, so that we can say that we do have a Main Street and it's that we're proud of it.
Mrs. Davis?
First of all, I'd like to thank you for the appointment and also thank Larry. I'd also like to thank the people that came to speak about 38th Avenue, and I also had several business owners call me at home, and I appreciate their input, and it was nice to have a discussion with those folks, so I wanted to thank them. And then for a business matter, I wanted to see if there's somehow we can put on the study session, the next study session or so, revisit the town hall meetings that we had scheduled, just so we can kind of start planning that, send out postcards or some type of save the date to the residents so that we can move that forward.
Yeah, because we had we're going to talk about that probably in February because it would take 6 weeks, but we've got to decide. That's why it's going to go to a study session somewhere along in there.
Yeah.
And we may discuss it next Monday night a little bit too if we have some time, because we've got to decide, do we want a district meeting or do we want a town meeting?
Right.
So that's one thing that we're going to decide, and then well, we're just going to have to decide that. So.
And we did have it on the future agenda items, but I think we do have some room now on January 30th. Something was bumped off, so if you want to do it that soon, I think Mike and I can talk about it.
So we'll have a little discussion about it then next Monday, because it will take 6 weeks to get the cards out, you know, whichever way we decide. So we're going to have to decide which way we want to go on it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Langworthy?
Nothing, thank you.
Thank you. I wanted to just once again acknowledge Mr. Schultz's work on the Urban Renewal Authority, and also acknowledge and thank him that he understood my logic of the appointment. And like I said, there was nothing surreptitious about the appointment. I just thought we needed a city council member on the board, and we have an opportunity at this point to make that appointment. So thanks for all the work you've done on it, and I'm sure you'll be able to be consulted anytime and any place from the board. So thank you for that. And also, I'm on the 38th Avenue Leadership Committee, and what I did is I understand there's some businesses and some council members who have some concerns about the 38th Avenue changes, and those are still in preliminary discussion and design. But what I did ask was that we would draft up a sort of frequently asked question fact sheet, because there is a lot of information and rumors out there. I can tell you that the plans that are coming forward are not part of the Tea Party. They're not part of the New World Order that I've seen on Facebook and a few other things. If you have a disagreement about this, that's fine to disagree, but we don't need the black helicopters in the city of Wheat Ridge. We've had enough of them the last 16 years to last a lifetime. So if you're going to oppose something, that's fine, and I understand it's a freedom of speech issue, but have your facts straight. And talking about, like I said, the Tea Party goals and objectives, and the New World Order and Agenda 21 in the United Nations, I don't know, you know, I guess we're just not that smart sometimes to follow through with all those types of crazy words and efforts from certain people. But what I did want to do is I'm going to read a question. I'm only going to do two of them tonight. I'm going to kind of do this every meeting. But some of the questions that I wanted to be addressed was, here's the first question. Does the city need to take private property to make these improvements on 38th Avenue? And of course, the answer is the city is not taking any private property to make the right-of-way wider for the road diet. If there were more permanent road diet in the future, this is an option in the plan that fits with an existing right-of-way. And talking to staff, the existing right-of-way was based on 60 feet, which has been there for a long time when the road was widened to four lanes, or 5 lanes in some area where we have this Sayre turn lane. And the bottom line is there's some parts of the street that are 80 feet of right-of-way, 80 feet, and those are the areas where you may see some of the on-street parking, but that's still also in the city right-of-way, so no additional property has to be taken, which I wouldn't support either. I'm sure a majority of council wouldn't want to see any more private property being taken after the street's been widened 2 times, 3 times in the past. And the other question was, is the city taking away private business parking or driveways? The city is not removing any access points or driveways on 38th Avenue without property owner consent. Some businesses are electing to work with the city on access enhancements that will improve their parking and the flow for their business, but it's a volunteer basis. And of course, one of the businesses that I've talked to and heard about this was LaFonda's. No private parking is being taken away. Rather, many businesses will have some on-street parking added in front of their business. So I posted this on my website, jerrydetilio.com, and this will be further clarified as we go through the process of study sessions, public meetings with council and the public. So we have a study session after this regular meeting. Let's take till 8:10, and then we'll come back. We're adjourned.
Wheat Ridge Channel 8, keeping you informed on events in your community.